I said there's no evidence. So I've already said I think. So I'm conceding here and saying that
Jstlk is literally experiencing severe anal prolapse right now. Okay, from defending Hasan. It is crazy. All right. He is so raped. He is so raped by Ahrelevant right now, okay? His anus is like protruding just a little bit more, okay? It's like it went from a hole like this to like it started tearing open a little bit, you know? Because you know, he's getting torn apart by Hasan's dick and then now by Ahrelevant's dick, okay?
if you want to call that rape denial, I'm fine with calling that rape denial. I would call that like I call it casting aspersions. I would have called that casting.
Wait, what? Did he end up watching Nick Fuentes to close out the stream?
Jay, so on and so forth. Being clown for having one pair of shoes.
Hold on.
Dude. He is actually such a lolcow. He is like unironically such a massive lolcow. What the? There's no way, right?
Innocence thing was his
Oh no, Jstlk is gonna be mauling over this all day.
point, and people say that's bullshit. What if I tell you he made that point before that as well? Like his entire point was saying that this is what's happening in the West Bank.
Oh no, is this person gonna come in and lead her? Fucking no.
It's not random at all. It says a
Jaster TY is he debating anybody during this?
And elite.
Iska. I consistently get my call-ins dodged. Why? Are you known in this
Explain
community?
anything he says. Talking about this for quite a while.
to a storefront and just
Okay. Settling.
Context of still
He's watching literal, like, actual violent settlers over here, like armed violent settlers. When he's saying settlers, I think, do you think it's unreasonable to say that when he says settlers, he's referring to the people on his screen who are being called settlers?
Yes, but I
Okay.
do you, doesn't Hasan have
love
like
you.
a
Okay.
isn't Hasan, now I don't have a quote for this, so I could be wrong. I'll admit that.
I believe
Isn't
he
Hasan,
said that,
broadly
like,
said it's justified?
foundationally, I would agree that he is foundation. He said foundationally. So what I think he's done is, I think when they brought up the second thought, like, settler babies quote, I do believe that
Isn't that a Tom Launcher? Yeah, he's in and out of the Twitch full space.
what he said was, well, that is kind of true technically, because he's an autistic retard who's like, well, they are, you know, almost everybody in Israel's like kind of a settler.
Yeah, sure. But
Sure. So basically, it's like, would you call a group of Mexicans who came over and like formed a colony in the States, built like a little structure, had weapons, and anybody who came to like to move them off of that land, they fired shots at? Would you say that those are civilians?
No, but I don't think that accurately portrays the picture in Israel, though.
No, it doesn't. But I'm saying that this is what's happening in the West Bank, right? Also, he is saying within the West Bank. That's the context of this whole thing. And I think that much is clear from the...
You're still going with this defense? Then why? Okay. I just want to ask one question. What is Hila Klein's relation with the West Bank? What is Hila Klein's relation right now with the West Bank? Why bring up Hila Klein? Why bring up Hila Klein in context of the... Is she a settler? She voted against Netanyahu, by the way. Okay, just so you know. On record, she has said she voted against Netanyahu. Okay? I'm just saying, okay?
A 2-minute clip, no?
Cool.
He's talking about actions you can take in the West Bank.
Oh, fuck.
What did he say?
Mm.
At the start, experiences in the West Bank. Okay, yeah, he does mention the West Bank and the
20 years ago, she went to the West Bank. Oh, okay.
Gaza Strip. Yeah, sure, I can definitely agree to that.
And he's
say,
watching
though,
a documentary on settler violence in the West Bank, and he has just watched the IDF come and like fuck up a storefront or something of somebody in. I believe this is. I believe it's Area A, but I'm not sure if this is 100% in Area A.
They came.
All right, but so as long as you're willing to like accept that when he says settlers, he's not referring to civilians, then your argument's true. But if you take when he says settlers and
How long do you think he will keep this up for without Hasan responding to one of his videos, though? Guaranteed, Jstlk is probably begging Queeman to get in with Hasan, okay?
he has used this
Fingers
term more
crossed.
broadly before to
He has.
mean like more in a more broad, then you could my argument would be Ethan and Hila have gone to Israel before. They visited Israel. I'm not sure which particular parts. I just know they have. And if they're in Israel, they are civilians there. So in a more broader context, you could say that maybe, right? Maybe I would say, he's not calling for violence for them and thing, but he does call a Hila what is it? One of those he calls her like who participated in the raids and IDF raids, right? So he's like directly attributing Hila to like someone who like does these raids. So I don't think it's 100% clear cut that he's not in the green on this. I'd say he's very close to the red.
I think he's pretty in the green. So we could go and look at the 2-minute clip again. I believe he is also talking about people who are engaging in military operations, essentially people who are like armed. I believe he's talking about like it's okay to militarily resist these people. I'm not 100% sure if that's obvious here from even the 2-minute clip. I'm pretty sure that's the case though. Like he even starts talking explicitly about the IDF.
That could be the case. I just like when you say that, it feels weird to me that you would throw in like Ethan Klein's wife in the middle of like all these terrorist organizations and
Ethan Klein's wife's name in the middle, all of these terrorist organizations.
I think that.
Oh no, not Team Destiny, fucking writing on Notepad.
So you're right. Yeah. I think that's a little bit weird if we're on the topic, right?
No, because she's engaged in. So he is describing that like that you could technically. So what he says is actually, you know what? Do you want to watch this other part with me? I'm gonna grab this other timestamp for both of us. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Let's watch this together.
Whatever you need to go through.
Yeah, because I think this is more instructive, and this is from before, and I'll grab this and we could play it, and I think it lends a lot of additional context to this whole thing. This is about 5 minutes before where the clip picks up.
Like any sort of sympathy or any sort of like mention.
Here, let me back it up just a little bit here. She's watching this documentary. The IDF comes over, kind of fucks up this person's shit.
Much. It's like these things
are
marginal in comparison to like obviously the death and destruction campaign in Gaza, but this is a part of everyday existence for Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. These guys are illegally occupying the West Bank, for the record, and they do this shit on a daily basis. If you like, there are a million videos like this where they just like go into a storefront and just fuck it up.
I just think we should watch this whole thing because it is informative. It's about, like I said, about 5 minutes before the actual stream clips.
And demand
to know the
phones
context of like what he's
Palestinian
talking about.
There, they go through their social media to look for things that they can find that they can arrest them on, like any sort of sympathy or any sort of like mention.
Okay.
These are images not dissimilar to the Gestapo harassing random fucking citizens and packing up Jewish people in Nazi Germany.
Jesus.
Now, while I say that's hyperbolic, I'd say this is obviously like what you call like, fasci or something, right? Like the police force, they're by military force alone, they're coming in and just like fucking with these people. It seems like.
Yep. That seems pretty straightforward thing,
Yeah. There's little to none armed resistance against these fucking freaks, for the record. Even though they are terrorists, they are in direct violation of international law, and it is legal. It is literally legal if every single Palestinian there took up arms and started actively
Whoever made his stupid penguin VTuber thing, I hate you.
fighting against those terrorists, the Israeli occupying force. That is literally legal and moral. Okay, understand.
So he's clearly talking about the occupied
Yeah, Hasan doesn't consider it hyperbolic. Exactly. Yes.
for occupying force in Area A of the West Bank. Right now? Maybe it's not clear he's talking about Area A, but he's talking about the occupying
No matter
force. Okay, we can keep
no
going.
matter what all of your previous social conditioning has taught
just
you,
got that from his
understand
chat,
that what
dude.
they are doing, regardless of the state violence that they're doing here, what they're doing is illegal.
Okay, so what all of your, what was that? Preconceived?
Legal
Hold on,
and
what was
moral.
that?
Okay?
Let me hear that again.
No matter what all of your previous social conditioning has taught you, understand.
Yeah, no matter what all of your previous social conditioning has taught you, right? This is one of the points he makes, is in favor of the idea that he is talking about how, despite how this might look like the moral actor in this situation, because they look like American soldiers, kind of, despite that, that's not true here.
And that what they are doing, regardless of the state violence that they're doing here, what they're doing is illegal. Racist? Why use a racist voice to mock Israelis? I don't know. Because it's funny. They're doing a genocide. Does that hurt your fucking feelings?
Dude, the forced dick slurping of Hasan is actually so viscerally disgusting. It's so unhinged. It's like a fucking comedy sketch or something, you know?
All right. That's also just funny. Probably not great in terms of people calling him an anti-Semite, but that's just funny.
The forced glazing is crazy.
I agree with you, but I don't think legality is the issue. No, I'm just explaining to people that, like, what they think is legal is obviously seeing armed military, members of the state, members of the fucking military, members of the police force. And automatically we're conditioned into thinking, like, oh, what they're doing is a legal thing. Maybe it's...
So, point two, when you are looking at the military, when you're looking at guys who are dressed like this, you automatically assume what they're doing is okay, right? But it's not. Doesn't matter how they look. It's not okay.
It's racist, but it's like still a legal occupation.
This is I'm also just largely pointing this out for my chat. I realize you didn't really challenge me on this. I'm just pointing out for my chat because this was a point I was making last night. It's a point I'm going to continue to make, is he's driving home this point, right? That it doesn't matter what the Palestinians look like. It doesn't matter what the Israelis look like. In this context, there's no context in which the Israeli military can do anything to fuck with these people.
He's non-consensually subjecting us to watch this blowjob. My bad, guys. This is sexual harassment. True. Stop raping us.
And they're the moral actors in any way. They are immoral by their presence. Their presence alone makes them immoral actors in this case.
It's not. It is completely illegal. Okay? This is not like a member of the police force, like, being of racist to a citizen. This is, like, even beyond that. That is abhorrent. That is fucked up. That should be prosecuted. But this is a step beyond that.
Green screen, the visitors arrive in small groups to look at a tomb up the street. The Palestinian city of Hebron is in what is known as Area A of the West Bank. It means it's
it is in
under the full
Hebron.
control of the...
That chatter literally said, why you not love Israel? You are being racist.
Dude, it's fucked up that he sounds exactly like Just's, okay? That's the really fucked up thing here, is that, like, I can't tell the difference between that voice he just did and Just's.
Like, why use racist voice to mock Israelis? I don't know, because it's a fucking Nazi country doing Nazi shit.
I'm sorry, that's just
Comes in here
facts.
and gets in their feelings when I'm doing like a
I mean, okay, hold on. So you're not pushing back against racism of Israeli people. Like, for example, if a Jewish American in the United States has this accent, you're okay with being racist to a Jewish American, or what exactly is the conclusion here?
a bad German accent.
That's just facts that it's, like, exact, okay?
Is it an F? What happened?
Sorry.
authority. But everyone here says the presence of Israeli soldiers and settlers
Last time I remembered, the Nazis didn't have a democracy, but okay.
is designed to make a point, to emphasize who's really in charge.
Help me out, Foodshops. What do people go by when they say they hate Zionists but not Jews? What do you mean? What do people go by? It's the same way that people say thugs but not black people, right? Or immigrants but not Mexican people, right? Pretty obvious.
This is a journey around the West Bank, and inevitably it starts at the wall.
So, okay, so I feel like this is building up the context. If I tell you we're about, I think, 30, we might be This might be where the clip starts,
separating
actually. Hold
Israel
on.
from its Palestinian neighbours.
Yeah, 1 second.
It is imposing and is in many ways a symbol of Israel's desire to segregate the people who live on the
Oh,
other
maybe
side.
not. No. We're about a minute away from where the clip starts right
From
now.
them. The wall was built over 2 decades ago to stop Palestinian terror attacks inside Israel after a wave of violence. But there is more than a wall to all of this. The West Bank and its people would make up the lion's share of a Palestinian state if one were to be recognized. Geographically, it's on the west bank of the River Jordan, which is where it gets its name from. Current political leadership in Israel does not want a Palestinian state, and the Israeli parliament just approved a motion to annex the West Bank. It doesn't necessarily mean it'll happen, but it shows the thinking.
Like any kind of violence that
Okay, this is where the clip starts, right here. So I'd say, does that context change your mind on anything here at all?
It's still like within the you made a good point about him like sort of talking about the West Bank and why sort of I can see the context there that you provided. Yeah, all I'm trying to. It's still, to me though, it still strikes me as like a very odd thing that he's bringing up Hila Klein within like was sort of in the confines of all of this. And
So, you understand that
like
Hila Klein
previous-
went on a raid into Area A, right? This is an Area A zone where it is illegal by definition for Israelis to be here, for Israeli military to like operate here. It's under the security authority of the Palestinian Authority, right? They're the security for this area. And instead of like and that's what Hila Klein did. It happens to line up 1-to-1, right? That it's like the exact same thing. She was with the IDF participating in a security,
right,
I guess, raid
right.
in Area A, the area where it is illegal for the IDF to be.
Yeah, then you would agree with me that he's calling for violence for like Hila Klein because she has gone to like Israel before
When she was participating in that raid. In this area, if she were raiding into Area A, that is where she would be a valid target, right?
Well, I mean, wait, but what about Hasan denying the rapes and saying that all resistance is justified? That of including the rapes, I'm assuming. I'm just curious what his stance is on that, but okay.
I guess like I see what you're saying with the context, but I think that like broad.
Yeah, why does she need to be evoked at all? You could have just said, oh, anybody who is still in active service, right? If your view is anybody who is in active service, you could have just said that. But why the fuck did you need to say Hila Klein? Sorry, or at least make the very specific reference, right?
Broadly, Hasan would agree like that but more broadly that all of Israel would be like a valid military
is this
target
thing?
for Israel.
But that's
Lord.
not, that's for Palestine? No, that's not even the point he's making, though. He's saying under international law, this is legal. And when he talks about it, he says legal right before this part, right? He's talking about legal, which means he's obviously referring to Area A. It's not legal for Palestinians to attack with terrorism or let's say resistance, violent resistance, people anywhere in Israel, civilians anywhere in Israel. That's insane. That's not what he's saying here. He is saying it's legal. It is legal under international law. So he's saying in Area A, Israel has no presence. I don't know if he's correct here. I kind of doubt he's correct. But that is what gives away what he's talking about, right? That's what makes it very obvious to me what he's talking about. Is he's talking about Area A.
Is Jstlk fat? I don't know. Is the Earth round?
And how Israel's not allowed to have a security presence there. And that anybody who is operating under the guise of the IF here is a valid target for any violent resistance. You're allowed to defend yourself if there is an occupying force from another country who's entering your country and fucking with your shit. I don't think anybody disagrees with that, right?
Well, listen, I think there's a lot more to the Israeli conflict than just what Hasan.
You know what sucks about leader? Like this person, every single time they debate or something like that, I feel like they just never push back hard enough, right? Like whatever Ahrelevant was like being was enough. That was great, okay? But I need people to push back harder against like this bullshit, okay? People need to be able to stand on business, all right? Jesus.
Playing right now.
Yeah.
But if you're like literally talking about defending yourself, then that's perfectly fine. But when you bring up like someone who's in another country, who's not a part of the IDF currently, who's essentially like a wife in fucking the middle of California, and in the context of all of these terrorists,
Is leader in DGG/Ahrelevant? No, I think they're just in Twitch pool in general, but not DGG specifically. No.
Groups, and you're okay with they say Israeli settlers. I take what he says Israeli settlers. I take that to mean civilians. Now I understand what you're saying. There are people that are not Israeli settlers.
I have to ask you again.
I
have to ask you again. He's saying it's illegal to do this violence. It is not legal to go out and attack any Israeli citizen. So it kind of gives the game away, right?
His streams suck so much without Kelly Jean. Yeah, you don't say. It's visceral. It's like a legal form of torture, is what this is.
With the context, it gives the game away entirely. What he's referring to, where he's referring to it, that like makes it obvious what's in his mind.
He also calls it moral resistance. It's totally legal and totally moral, right?
Yes.
So it's not just legal he's talking about.
No, he's saying it's both. So
my whole thing is to stop giving Jstlk free content. Nah, I think this person is just in and out.
It has to be legal. It's not it's not just legal, but by virtue of it being legal, he's referring to a very specific area, which is not the United States. It's not broader Israel. It's just Area A, right?
Right, but for example, if Hila Klein was to go to Israel, then she would be a totally moral target.
No, we're gonna.
That's what he's saying, isn't it?
If you went to Area A, it is possible he might give you. If she went to Area A, she would be a valid target. It's possible, but I believe it's when she went on in the context of the raid, right? So if she went into Hebron, it's possible Hasan could say, "Oh, she'd be a valid target," but I don't think so. Because I don't think that would be moral. If she just went in as a civilian, I don't think that'd be moral at all. And he's not.
What? No, you need to stop. This is like this is the entire point of why this was a point of discourse in the first place is why was Hila Klein brought up at all? Okay, that is the question. Why was Hila Klein brought up in the first place? You don't need Hila Klein to make this point. Okay? Yeah? You don't need Hila Klein to make this point. You don't. Right? Foodshops is too brain dead. Just drop cunt and leave. What? Moy.
Talking about somebody who's there peacefully, right? Hold on, he's not talking about somebody who's there peacefully. This is in the context of he's freaking out about these Israeli citizens fucking up this storefront. Or sorry, the IDF people fucking up this storefront. He's
like the problem is like weak-willed, okay? Weak-willed people like leader. All right, right here. Okay, I listen. Okay, I don't know much about this guy. Maybe I am unjustifiably smack talking him. Okay, but like the thing is that weak-willed people like leader. All right, he does not call this out, okay? He is going along with the narrative, okay? He's there to play the training dummy, okay? The training dummy for Jstlk here, okay? You spread his gay little rhetoric around, okay?
Watching a documentary on violent settlers, so it seems to me pretty obvious that when he says moral, he means if you're there fucking shit up, if you're not there for peaceful reasons, go fuck yourself, right? You're a valid target.
I can see what you're saying, Jstlk, but I would say that when he says moral...
Also, by the way, like, I just want to say, like, even IDF in the West Bank doesn't mean that they are a valid target, even if they're conducting operations. What exactly is the context of... Did you have the PNG tuber on because you were eating? No, I had to quickly be back for a few minutes. But, like, can I just say, like, even then... you're not justified if you don't know the context of what the operation is. That's insane. Like another thing is this, right? Is that how do you know they're not there to, I don't know, do some other operation? If they're specifically there to do settling activities, like to take over homes and kill people and do all that stuff, yeah, of course you're justified in self-defense. Of course you're justified in resistance, right? Of course. Right? If they're trying to assist the other West Bank settlers, right, in taking over the region or something, right? Absolutely. I think you're like justified in physical resistance. Absolutely. And even then, you're not justified in raping the soldiers, right? You're not justified in raping the soldiers. You're justified in physical violence as to the point where they stop, right? In accordance with in accordance with laws and you know, international standards. But like the thing is that like that is so far beyond the conversation, right? Where the conversation is that the conversation is supposed to be what exactly is Hasan implying, right? What is Hasan implying, right? Because the thing is that the more we move away from that conversation, the more you're playing into the propaganda, okay? The propaganda that, oh, this is not about that. It's about making a simple hypothetical. No, hold on. You don't need to bring up Hila Klein. You don't need to bring up Hila Klein to make that hypothetical, to make that it's crazy that you named a specific person who hasn't even spent 20 years in the IDF at this point, right? And in the context of you don't even know what her position in that operation was, and you don't even know if that operation was about taking over West Bank houses or something, right? So there's like multiple aspects here that are in question, unknown, or completely made up, right? Which is exactly why, like, this is 100% super dishonest, right? But yeah.
And I think in a more broader context, I don't think Hasan gives a shit when it comes to like violence that's done against Israel or Israeli settlers. And when he says settlers, in what I'm hearing, I understand that you've got good context. Perhaps even you've got some reason to believe what you're saying. But in my mind, when he says settlers, he's referring to civilians.
No. You're actually going against the evidence in front of you because you don't want to admit that like you've come to the
what is with this security bot? Huh?
Incorrect conclusion, right? Like I've given you basically incontrovertible evidence about what he means.
Security?
So you have to admit at base that he's not saying Hila Klein is a valid target where she is in broader Israel. That is absolutely
where
correct,
she is. But if she was to go to Israel,
unrelated topic. How do people living on their own survive being heavily sick on their own? Shit scares me, bro. Wait, what? I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean being sick? What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
then I would say then yes,
to go to Hebron or Ramallah, not just Israel. You have to give me this. Not just Israel. You cannot walk away from this. It's not just Israel. It's Area
security
A.
thingy. Okay.
But I don't even think he's arguing, by the way. I don't think he would argue that non-combatants, peaceful civilians who have entered Area A, I don't think he would argue they should be targeted either. That's why I think he says the thing about the raids.
If we it's like in his broader coverage of like the Israeli Israeli conflict.
He makes me sick, dude. If Hasan makes you sick, you should give me money, okay, for bringing this attention to the surface, okay? The more money you give me, okay, the more Hasan is brought to justice, okay? All right, you can donate via, super chat or membership, okay?
Apply that to this.
One second, got a donation?
In a secretary uniform on patrol in the West Bank. I'll show her how bad Hasan can be, wink, wink.
Okay, thank you, Hasan After Dark, for the $3. Go ahead, sorry.
I wonder why they always associate these people with bad actions or something. If you get like a serious flu or cold and you ain't got someone around to do errands or like someone to have an eye, you just fucking bear through it, dude. Take some fucking Dayquil and go to sleep, and like fucking order some meds or something,
Sorry about that. Crazy people tip in.
I don't fucking know.
If you talk about where was I? If you talk about Hasan in like the broader context of like what Hasan's opinions are and you apply them to this, I don't think it's like totally unreasonable that like Hila Klein could take this as like a death threat if she was to go to Israel.
So I think emotionally you can do anything. Like I don't think there's, and Hila Klein and Ethan Klein are both the most neurotic people that exist on planet Earth. So I have no doubt that they think this is a real death threat. Okay, but unfortunately for them, their emotional state is not what makes this a death threat or not. And it's clearly not a death threat. And he's clearly talking about within Area A, right? He is clearly talking about this, and he's not saying that.
Well, it's stochastic terrorism, right? It's fucking stochastic terrorism. Literally, you don't want any of the responsibility for making it happen, right? But what you do actually want is for one of your viewers to be extreme enough to do it on their own, right? That is the expectation here, right? You are sick and tired of them. You want them to go away in the most violent manner, if I may so add.
Anywhere in Israel, she is a valid target. She's not in Israel, by the way. But like we've categorically.
Todd, you need to stop spamming, okay? Make it one paragraph, okay? You can do this, okay? All right. Yeah, thank you.
Eliminated the United States 100%. So
I'm fine
now
with that,
we've agreed entirely that it is not a direct call to violence, right?
You're like out talking 200 other people here.
Sorry, you're laughing, but you have to agree that it's not a direct call to violence, yes?
If you want to say that if
it's the will no one rid me of this meddlesome priest, exactly.
Hila Klein going to Israel is a, if you want to sort of make.
I don't think Hasan wants a viewer to kill H3 or Hila, and you don't think that either. Maybe. But does it matter? Does it matter? In fact, no. I disagree with you. I do actually think Hasan wants them dead. Do you know why? Let's see if you can guess the reason why. Hasan's orbit is making death threats to Destiny. Hasan doesn't speak up about it. Hasan doesn't care about that. Hasan knows of it, but he's okay with his orbiters putting out a hit, an actual hit on Destiny, okay? What do you think his own standards are if he lets his orbiters get away with this? What do you think he wants? So, no. In fact, I will actually contend with that, actually.
The distinction between like where she is and where she could be, and say because she's not in Israel, it's not a direct call of violence, then you can take that position. I don't even want to argue with that with you.
Sure.
He doesn't want to be known for having a viewer of his killing H3 or his wife, yeah, but he can just play dumb, right? Like 100% he's just gonna play dumb, but yeah.
Okay. What do you think a direct call to violence is? I actually do. What do you think a direct call to violence is?
It'd be like directly calling. It'd be directly calling for violence of someone. It'd be like, go kill Hila Klein.
Can you directly call for violence? Saying that like is it a direct call for violence, or is it a direct how would you put this? Like, oh, if you come to Australia, I'm gonna fuck you up. Is that like
Can I get the ultimate cliff notes of the Jstlk drama beef? Not really interested in the drama of this community. If you're not interested, nigga, why the fuck are you watching? You can go to another stream. You can do anything else on your own time. You don't have to. You don't have to watch me. What the? Did someone force you to click on the stream? I'm here because I like you, fam. Okay. You don't have to like me all the time. All right.
I don't even think he's doing that here. Like, I don't even think I can like say it's like less. It's not conclusive that he.
I'll tell you. Okay, fine. I'll recap real quick. Okay. Jstlk is an anti-fan and he sucks. There you go.
He means she has to be a militant in Area A. Although I do want to keep listening here as well because I am interested to see. But I just don't think I don't think there's almost any way you can call this a call to violence on Hila Klein, like saying you should go do something to Hila Klein. I don't think there's any reason for them to be scared. I don't even think that like, yeah, I don't think there's anything here. Jan 6 flashbacks.
All right, Foodshops, what have I missed? You, sir, did not push back hard enough against Jstlk. You let him get away with a little bit too much. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, this is nothing like January 6th. This is not close. This is not even a little bit close.
Yep.
Yeah, that latter statement. I was trying to figure out how to make it like location conditional, and I was just trying to think through that in my head, so I shouldn't have said it, but whatever. I'm just saying it's not a direct call to violence. Obviously, it's not explicit. It's not even implicit that like she should be a target for violence. It's saying she could have been a target for violence because she participated in these raids.
Okay, but I would say it's a current because he says that she did, and she did participate in those raids, and he throws her in with all those other like all those terrorist groups.